Job's not easy, but it's work I love to do, and I will always make it through. For God is with me and will lift me if I fall. There is an answer when I call. So if you see me speaking softly, a conversation has begun. I'm only praying the words I'm saying. I'm only praying to the one. As I arise and a new day will begin, I take a breath and draw it in. I pause a moment and I'm thankful for this day, and I feel blessed and then I pray. So if you see me speaking softly, a conversation has begun. A conversation has begun. I'm praying the words I'm saying. I'm only praying to the one. And I give thanks for the love that's in my heart. Every minute that I live, I'll sing the praises and I will do my part. I offer all I have to give. It's getting dark outside and I have gone to bed. It feels good to rest my head. I close my eyes like a child whose day is done. Make my connection to the one. So if you see me speaking softly, a conversation has begun. Conversation has begun. I'm only praying the words I'm saying. I'm only praying to the one. I'm only praying to the one. I'm only praying to the one. Yes. All right, we have a percussion section.
Our percussion section grows and grows.
Oh, they're dancing now.
That's right. It's not just audio, it's visual. So happy Palm Sunday. I decided not to focus on Palm Sunday during my lesson today, but I hope we'll hear other things of truth that come through. And I was thinking that with Palm Sunday, maybe we should have played Before the Parade Passes By today instead of last week. When I was in seminary, all those many years ago, I remember one of my professors making a comment about prayer. He said when he was in the army, he learned to pray with his eyes open. I presume that he meant that he learned to pray through all the drills and marching that one did in the army, and that he didn't have to close his eyes necessarily to be in prayer. And then there's prayers in the midst of battle. You certainly don't want to close your eyes at that point in time, but it certainly is a time for prayer. Now, of course, head bowed, eyes closed, hands clasped is one way to pray. It's what we picture when we think of someone praying usually. It's a Norman Rockwell painting. Prayer is usually a private and personal, but there are many forms of prayer. I'm not going to discuss today how or even whether prayer is effective. That's for another day perhaps. But I would like to talk about the various ways that we pray, beyond the eyes closed, head bowed moments. Because prayer is a conversation between the prayer and the divine. And just like conversations between two or more people can take many forms, so can a conversation with God. If we open our minds and our hearts to the various ways that it happens, then our prayer lives, and indeed our lives themselves, will be richer. One method that people pray is through journaling. Journaling is a very private way to pray. No other person has to see your journal but you. Through journaling, you can put your feelings, thoughts, emotions, hopes, and a record of events of your life down on paper. You have to pay attention to what you're writing. You're focused on that one thing at that one moment. Now, it may come in the form of questions and answers that you ask yourself. It may be a recounting of your day. It may be a recitation of what you're grateful for. You write without editing or censoring because it's only between you and God. And journaling can be done in many ways. The traditional pen with a journal book, and if anybody's interested, we have many journal books in the bookstore. You can write on sheets of paper, or even put your thoughts into a document on your computer. There are journaling apps available, I know, though I've never tried one. Creativity is a way that people pray. Expressing your inner life through the creation of anything is a way to convey what's going on with you. When we create, we allow inner feelings to come to the surface, and we communicate to the higher power that is always with us. Now, of course, creativity can come in many forms: painting, dancing, singing, writing poetry or music. So there is a list of creative endeavors that you can try that is almost endless. It isn't limited to the visual arts, as we may think of first and foremost. Transmitting through creativity is a powerful way to pray. And a plus is that you often have the results of your creativity to remind you of your prayerful conversation. When I look at the results of our birdhouse creative times that have occurred here over the years, I see prayers expressed through creativity. We can pray through involvement in social action and promoting social justice. Each act we take to make the world a better place is in fact an act of prayer. I think of the group of us which gathered to make and serve a meal to some of our unhoused companions in the city. That afternoon and evening was a time of prayer. Or the time that we spent putting blessing brags together recently, also a time of prayer. And we have another opportunity to pray through our actions. We are starting to collect for There to Care, the organization that Carol Joy is involved with, which provides support for families with critically ill children. We can help and we can pray by donating food and gathering to package that food in a few weeks. There's a box on the table, and I'll mention more about it later. But our efforts at social action is a form of prayer that changes the world around us directly. Now, any discussion of prayer would be incomplete without mentioning meditation. Just stopping to be quiet is a prayerful time. Settling yourself, slowing your breathing, clearing your mind is one way to pray. There may not be a goal or a specific need brought forth during this time, but settling ourselves, we open ourselves up to hear what God might be saying to us. Prayer, of course, is not a one-way street. It's not just us speaking to God. It's listening and hearing what communications might be coming from the divine. But stilling our minds to allow those divine communications to come through is what meditation can be about. Now, of course, at Unity, we know that affirmation is a form of prayer. I found a Unity booklet recently called Finding Peace Through Prayer, and this is the way they put it. Affirmations are statements of truth. They are not wishful thinking, but powerful statements of what is always true here and now for everyone. Examples are, I live in a universe of abundance, or health is my natural state of being. Affirmations focus our attention on the spiritual principles behind life's events and remind us of the good that is always ours. In our prayers of affirmation, we realize what is good around us and express that to God. Now, naturally, we pray for others. This is an important part of our service here at Unity Spiritual Center, which we just did. We raise those who need care and of whom we are concerned about. Just speaking or thinking someone's name is a way to pray for that person. Bringing them to mind, or wishing them well, or curing, or positivity is a prayer indeed. There are many who need our prayers. Now, whether we express them aloud, as we did earlier today, or silently to God, God recognizes our cares and concerns as prayer. Now, a specialized form of prayer is walking the labyrinth, and if you want to know what a labyrinth is, we have one up here, which you can't walk because it's too small, but it shows you what it's like. A labyrinth is a maze of sorts where there is only one winding path that leads to the center. You can walk slowly and intentionally, and you might repeat a mantra as you walk. Reaching the center, you can believe that you have achieved communion with the divine within us. It is a symbol of the journey that we take to reach the divine spark we carry. Now, there are several labyrinths in our area that you can access. One beautiful one is at Land's End, here in San Francisco, on a cliff overlooking the Pacific. Also, Grace Cathedral has 2 labyrinths that are available to the public, one inside the cathedral and one outside. And for those who were gathered with us a few weeks ago at Forest Hill Christian Church, you'll notice that there was a labyrinth in the fellowship hall there. And I know someone who can get you access if you want to go there and practice praying by walking a labyrinth. Now, of course, just walking and being intentional about what you see around you is a way to practice prayer itself. It doesn't have to be a labyrinth. It can be a sunny day through a park. Expressing gratitude is a form of prayer. Meister Eckhart was a 13th, 14th century theologian and mystic. He is quoted as saying, "If the only prayer you ever say in your life is thank you, it will be enough." By expressing gratitude, we are in prayer. Whether it's thanks for another person for an act of kindness, or their presence in your life, or appreciation to God for all the gifts you find around you. And similarly, forgiveness is a form of prayer. By forgiving, we release something inside of us that needs to be released. Forgiveness, as has been said many times before, does not mean forgetting an act or excusing the person committing it. But it does mean turning that act over to God and communicating the hurt and pain to God and allowing God to hold it for us. We pray through visioning, which combines imagination and intention. Visioning is focused through specific outcomes in the mind. As the Unity booklet I already mentioned says, visioning clarifies our desires, making us a vibrational match to what we want and opening us up to receive. There are many ways to pray. I'm sure that some of you have ways to pray that I haven't mentioned, and I urge you to continue practicing them. Whatever form your prayer time takes, use it to communicate, to speak and listen, to give and receive. Be open and receptive however you pray, and seek to recognize that your prayer time, which is precious, can take many forms. And so it is. Amen. For our meditation today, I invite you to relax where you are. Get comfortable. Feel connected to wherever you're sitting, and the connection that that chair or sofa or bed or wherever you are has to the floor below it and to the ground below that and to all of creation. If you haven't done so already, I invite you to close your eyes Take a deep breath and hold it for a moment and slowly let it out. Continue to breathe through this meditation. And if you find your mind wandering, just return to your breath. Imagine yourself in your own personal sanctuary. It can be anywhere you choose, real or imaginary. It can be indoors or outside. Somewhere you feel safe and loved. Somewhere peaceful where you can meet with God. Breathe deeply and slowly. Feel the air entering in through your nose, filling your lungs, and being let out. Fill your whole self with breath. Feel the air in your lungs. Can you imagine yourself in your sanctuary? What do you see? Can you hear anything? What smells are there? Continue to breathe deeply and slowly. Breathe in through your nose and gently release. Now as you breathe in, say to yourself, "Your perfect love." And as you breathe out, say, "Drives out all fear." Breathe in, "Your perfect love." Breathe out, "Drives out all fear." Do it again. Your perfect love drives out all fear. We'll take a moment or two for you to do this at your own pace. Breathing in your perfect love, breathing out the phrase drives out all fear. And one last time. Your perfect love drives out all fear. Now imagine yourself getting up and leaving your sanctuary. Leaving that but knowing that you can return whenever you desire, whenever you need to be reminded that your perfect love drives out all fear. So take a deep breath again. Remember that God is still with you. God stays in you. God's peace stays with you. And begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Roll your shoulders a little. Nod your head perhaps. Return to where you are. And when you're ready, open your eyes.
That was lovely. Here at Unity Spiritual Center, we are an ocean of love. We have an inspiring vision, an exciting mission, and compelling values by which we strive to live. Each week, we will join together in saying one of our statements. Please join me in saying this week's statement, which is on the screen. Our values are, we are spirit-led, generous with resources, inclusive, joyously creative, and guided by integrity. And in this space, feeling inspired by our vision, mission, and values, and feeling so enriched by what we've experienced here today, let us take time now to channel for enrichment through our generous tithes and love offerings. As Michael shares the next beautiful song, please take that time to write out a check to USC, or if you're on Zoom, make a donation online. If you're here in the sanctuary, the ushers will come forward to take your offering. Practicing the principle of tithing ourselves as a spiritual community, we are pleased to tithe 10% of the offering collected each Sunday to various Unity organizations and local nonprofits in our city. Let us now take a moment to bless our tithes and love offerings as we cup them in our hands or next to our hearts. Let us say our offering blessing, which is on your screen. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God.
Walk in praise, talk in prayers, move in prayers, silent prayers. God don't care how you share all your prayers. Take a few steps, baby steps, tiny steps, itty bitty steps. God don't mind any kind, just take those steps. There's 1,000 ways you can do this. It don't take too much time. The only thing is you gotta get to it, and it won't cost a dime. Start right now. Anyhow, take a vow, it will allow Got to tune in so we all win. Starting right now. Let me play. On this next chorus, we're going to give the drummer some and do a thing called trading fours. I'll take the lead here. One more from Ron, come on. Take it away, one more, come on. Take it to the middle verse. Middle verse, Steve. There's 1,000 ways. There's 1,000 ways you can do this. It don't take much time. The only thing is you gotta get to it, and it won't cost a dime, 'cause we're gonna start right now. Anyhow, take a vow, and it will allow, well, God to tune in, and we all win, starting right now. I said God will tune in, we all win, starting right now. God will tune in, and we all win, and we're starting right now with our walking prayers. Ron Willis on percussion.
Okay, one more. Please join me in our blessing of our tithes and love offerings. Spirit of the living God, bless the acts of our hands, our minds, our hearts. May everything offered here at Unity Spiritual Center be a reflection of all that is good within us. Grant us the courage to listen to the patient and stirring of your presence. Enliven our spirits with humor. Fill us with reverence for one another and gratitude for our diversity. May unity, beauty, and truth be the fruit of all we do, and so it is. Amen. First gratitudes. First off is playing the part of Ben Gazzardi today is Annabelle Brider. Woo! And she has done a wonderful job. Thank you, Annabelle. We're also grateful for Kathy Russell, who was our greeter, and Ethel Tanquan and Adrian Edens, who are our ushers. I am grateful for the Hatfields, one as platform assistant and one as our musician, and for our percussionists who joined in today. So a lot of gratitude, and we are grateful for each person, and gratitude to Ben, who came in at the last minute to help via FaceTime. So our announcements are Easter. Easter is next week. Woohoo! April 9th. We are having a potluck following it. We invite you to bring appetizers, veggies, fruit, desserts, beverages, something special from your family heritage. anything that will be shared and appreciated by all who are gathered here. So please come and fill our sanctuary.
I would like to interject here, can I?
Please do.
I've got a soloist coming in.
Yes.
Okay. So I want to give you a little background on her, because I was looking to have a trumpet or a flugelhorn player come in to do some stuff with me. And this woman is masterful, let's just put it that way. I met her, oh my God, I want to say 35 years ago. I have met a lot of different musicians in my life, and some people are, shall we say, talk a big game and then don't actually deliver. And the first gig I ever did with Deborah Del Mastro, I have to tell you this only because it's funny to me. I asked her what key she sang a song in, and she said to me, "It doesn't matter." When I hear that from most vocalists, it means you have no idea what you're doing and you don't know about singing or music or keys or any of that